Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Marvelous Chats YouTube channel. My name is Hoffman. I'm here with my bud Finto.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And we're talking about the season finale of Book of Boba Fett. This is episode 7. Before we jump into it, make sure you leave a like on the video to let other people know that you enjoyed this content. Leave a comment down below and let us know what you thought about the season finale. And subscribe if this is your first time here at the channel. We talk about Star Wars. We talk about the DC, EU. We talk about the MCU. So if you like any of that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can get notified whenever we post our podcast or any of the series overviews that we talk about, like this one. So, Finto, the Book of Boba Fett, here we are, episode 7, season finale. How you feeling about this one? How'd you like it?
I'm very in the middle. If I'm being honest, I've seen a lot of people putting up like polls and stuff and saying like, did you like it, yes or no? And I can't really answer yes or no when I think about it. I only watched it once. I don't think it was an episode worth watching more than once. The last 2 episodes were just full of like fan service to Star Wars. And, they weren't Book of Boba Fett episodes, as we know, but they were just Star Wars TV, and it was fantastic. Yeah. Whereas this one, there was some good, there was some bad. And, it is what it is, we got what we got. But I think if we were to take like a kind of look at the series in its entirety, I think there's a lot. If you break down what we got, like there's a lot of good there, but just the whole structure of it, the whole runtime and how it all played out was just poor, but if you were to make a list of all the things that we got, it's amazing, like Boba Fett, like, his time with the Tuskens, while yes, it's slow, it overall, there was some good storytelling there, kind of, like him kind of training and the female Tusken and stuff like that. I thought all that was great. Just the pacing of it was just really slow and kind of all over the place. Then we obviously have all the Luke stuff, Ahsoka, Grogu, Mando back, and just all that, everything that happened then, the N1 Starfighter, Cad Bane, like literally, like, the list goes on. Like there was just so much going on, and I think it just didn't really work. I think a lot of people are saying that, like, maybe they should have just not put any of this Mando stuff in and just kept that for season 3. Why is Luke Skywalker in this show? And then I'm seeing on the flip side, it's actually like, well, Boba Fett actually knew all of these characters, so it actually kind of makes sense for them to be in the show in a way, because he did have some sort of a connection to each character. So it's not as if it's just out of the blue that Grogu will be there, or Mando or Luke Skywalker or Cad Bane trained him as a child and all this stuff. Like, they have history together. So I suppose, yeah, like, I don't know, it's very hard. Like, there was a lot of stuff I didn't like about the finale. Some of the choreography and the fight scenes were really bad. Some of the just that scene where Fennec Shan is like describing where everybody is in the city, and there's like kind of the heist music is back, and I'm kind of like, this is just weird. I don't know what's going on. And then as well, like, the one of the parts I loved was we finally got to see some jetpacks, bro. Like the jetpacks came back, and in a great way. Like the 2 guys come in, and like they just start. It's like a Wild West shootout. Like it's great. What about you? Like, what did you think? Like, highs and lows? Like, what, how did you take it?
It's just like a big low with, like, this episode is almost a perfect example of like what the whole season is distilled into one episode. There's a lot of really cool moments that you're like, I'm really glad I got to see that. Yeah. But like, I feel nothing while I'm seeing it. Yeah. I felt nothing this entire episode, and it was just an absolute letdown in terms of story and, being there and having Boba become like a more full character. It just was a complete, I don't want to say failure, because it feels like so stark and so harsh, right? It's just like, I was like, I didn't care about any of this. I was sitting there not caring about any of that. And for this to be episode 7 of a series of Star Wars, for me not to care about anyone in it, and the resolution of it, is a massive problem for me. And I think it should be a massive problem for the writers. Yeah. But I think that the reason that this finale feels so flat to me is because we did have those two really great episodes before it, but not because those episodes were so good, but because those two episodes had nothing to do with the Tatooine story that was going on.
Yeah.
So then we come to the season finale and we got nothing to care about because we took those two episodes instead of building storyline in there and building up stakes in there and like building up to this big fight. We were off planet with Mando for a little bit, and then we were with Luke for a little bit instead of being on Tatooine, building up this big, big end of the season fight.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, what did Boba accomplish here in terms of his character? Like, he just, Cad Bane had a line in it when he's like, "I just don't see your angle." And I'm like, yes, none of us do. Why are we like, what is this?
Yeah.
I think that they were kind of starting to allude to probably their ideas of what the show is about. And I think that's, Boba wrestling with the legacy of his father. When Cad Bane says, "You still have the blood of your father in you." Like, that's a great line that gives us a clue about what this show is about. And it's like, they just didn't really show that part of it. Like,
yeah.
I really didn't have any takeaways on him wrestling with the legacy of his father and his father being a killer, him being a killer. Like, I didn't really get any of that.
Yeah.
I know they were trying to do like the flashback scenes to whatever the ocean planet is that he was born on.
Yeah.
But it really didn't resonate with me what they were trying to tell me during those scenes.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up. So I just don't know what this whole show was about. Like, I just don't.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff like, we built up a lot of time watching the Tuscans and so on, and then like there was no payoff, like, and then there was kind of like the question was on everybody's mind, like, where's the female Tuscan, the warrior one? Is she going to come back? Just never happened, never came back.
Mm-hmm.
Someone kind of, again, this isn't something that I picked up just from watching the show, but just from kind of like watching breakdowns and stuff like that. But like, someone's like, Boba spent 5 years out in the desert, and was with that Tuscan tribe for 5 years. They don't really tell you that specifically like that. It's like, he's actually been with these guys for 5 years, so I can I can kind of understand why he would build an attachment to Tatooine and want to take it over. And he avenges the Tuscans and is fighting for Tatooine, and I kind of understand that, but like, it wasn't really explained very well in the show.
Right.
Like, it was for somebody said that, and then I kind of said to myself, oh yeah, I suppose he would build an attachment over 5 years to all these people. And because like, I'm like, why does he want to be on Tatooine? Like, Tatooine's a shithole. Like, no one gives the fuck about it. Like, I'm like, why is he fighting so hard to keep this planet? Mm-hmm. And I loved seeing Cad Bane. I thought he was really cool in the episode. But then we get to the end of the episode, and again, amazing when when him and Boba have their rematch, which, if you know, the dent on his helmet actually came from Cad Bane, and it was from an unfinished scene that they shot for Clone Wars towards the end of the Clone Wars series, and where they had like a standoff, and they both shot each other. They both hit headshots. They both like basically hit kill shots, but Boba's mask saved him, and Cad Bane actually lost a chunk of his head, which you see at the very end of the episode when he has the metal plate in his head. So I thought that was cool, but then they go and like kill Cad Bane, and I'm kind of like, I don't think he's dead. Number one, I think that's a kind of mislead. I think because you hear like a beeping, and I know he had like droids on his ship that would like help him if he got injured and so on. So I think like the beeping is kind of like a sensor back to them to say he's injured or he's dead. Go get him quick, and we can put him in a tank and try and revive him. Blah blah blah. So like I don't think he's dead, but I don't know. I just kind of thought like, wow, they bring Cad Bane into live action for 20 minutes and they're killing him already. Like, I'm like, why are they doing this? Like, it's kind of crazy.
I agree, and like, Cad Bane was, I think, drastically and criminally underutilized in this entire series. He should have been the main antagonist from the jump.
Yeah.
He should have been hired by the Pike Syndicate to come deal with Boba Fett in like episode 2.
Yeah.
He should have been the one that killed the Tusken Raiders back in the day. Like, that should have been Cad Bane, because what does Boba Fett get by killing Cad? Or allegedly killing Cad, right? Yeah. Like, he gets a victory over somebody for something that we saw off screen, like we don't see on screen ever in Star Wars. Yeah. So unless you know the deleted scene and that kind of lore, then it doesn't really matter. Like, they should have shown that scene early through one of the flashbacks, right?
Yeah,
like, absolutely. We get nothing. Like, when Boba Fett kills him, he resolves nothing that he's been dealing with this entire series, except he kills the bounty hunter that the Pike sent to him. But this bounty hunter, who he allegedly had history with, did nothing to him in the show. It's so unsatisfying. And like, who gets to kill those people? Oh, Fennec Shand. She's the one who gets to deal with the Pike Syndicate and kill the guy who killed the Tuskens.
Yeah.
Like, that should have been Boba Fett killing that guy. Like, it's so unsatisfying to me that they're not giving him like the proper resolution to the stories that they built up earlier in the season. It's so weird, man.
He should have like thrown like a smoke grenade into that room and just come in, burst into the room like a badass and just shot them all and killed them all. Now, like, to be fair, yes, that was terrible. But to be fair, there was some cool scenes with Boba in this episode. Like, during the shootout, I thought it was great. Like, the jetpacks were amazing. I thought, like, when he was shooting rockets out of his knees and stuff, I was like, this is epic. Like, I loved it. Really did. It was great. And Mando was cool. When he was like trying to chop through the shields with the Darksaber and stuff, I thought that was really cool. Chrysanthemum was kind of whatever. He was kind of
the scene where he like was getting shot for like 10 seconds, like it's so weird, bro. Like, it just feels weird.
Yeah, hang on, he's like, cover me, I'm gonna go get him. Like, this guy tried to kill me 2 episodes ago, but I'm gonna risk my life to rescue him now. Like, you know.
And these Pike Syndicates, they hit everywhere on. They hit nothing but armor for a guy who's like wearing one piece of armor. The only time they hit him was on that strap of armor he's got. Like, it just.
I know. I thought that was really cheesy, where the guys were like on their knees and they kept getting shot and getting blown back and coming back up, sitting back up and stuff, and getting blown back down again by another shot.
Yeah,
I'm like, shoot him in the fucking shoulder, like, you know, like half of his body's exposed, like.
Boba Fett's line, but I've got armor. Like, all right, bro, cool.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if I shot you in the thigh there.
All these gaps inside. You got like a chest plate and a helmet, man. Calm down.
Yeah, like you can see like the top of his shoulders and everything. Like just shoot him there. Look, you know, the modders were awful. I hated
tainted. They're tainted.
Yeah, they really are. Every scene that they were in was just horrendous. I just don't even want to listen to them talking. Like, they're awful. Like, they're like English actors who like are not even trying to put on a different accent or anything. I'm like, wow, there's like a gang from East London in this fucking show. Like, I'm like, what's going on? Like, it's just it was just so out of place. They visually and they like are out of place. Like, their costumes, their mods, it's all just out of place. And then even how they're talking is just out of place. Like, it's like, why are there people with English accents living on Tatooine? Like, it's just so weird, bro. Like, I just don't understand what they were trying to pull off, and I don't know what Rodriguez is at, like, but again, like, it's like the second he's back behind the camera, the fucking Vespas are back out, like the Power Rangers have reformed. I'm like, why? Like, this is just awful.
Yeah, it's not even that they're even that bright. It's like their design is awful, the way they use them is awful, the way they sit in them.
Yeah.
The way they sit in them looks dumb. Like, you can't make a Vespa look cool. No one has ever looked like a badass riding down on a Vespa. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it, you know? So when they put these in Star Wars, it feels so weird. And every time you see them, it's tainted.
Yeah.
And then, like, their dialogue, like you said, when the female modder and Fennec Shand had that moment where Fennec's like, oh, manners, I like it. And then they just show the mod girl for like 2 seconds. I'm like, what is this editing, bro? Like, what is this?
Yeah. Dude, it was tough. It was tough. I like the Rancor scene was kind of cool. It was got like kind of King Kong vibes off it and stuff like that. And like, we kind of knew it was coming. You know, Boba was going to ride in on him, and someone made an observation which I thought was great as well. Like, why did Boba not? Because like, he has the ability to just like use his controls on his suit to power up Slave One. It was like, why didn't he just power up Slave One, fly it over the thing, and just like take out those big like droids, you know, with the shields and stuff? It's like, that they clearly would have gone through that. Like, yeah,
and you know, if they have someone in the writing room who's even posing these ideas, it would be very easy for them to be like, oh, the Pike Syndicate, they brought like, you know, anti air stuff, you know what I mean? And they mentioned that in the show, and then we wouldn't think about this.
Yeah.
If they would just show that they had stuff that Boba couldn't call a ship in, you'd have no problem. Oh, that's why he's going to get the Rancor, because he can't use the ship right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
communication scrambled or something like that. Like, I know what you mean. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, I don't really have much else to say about the series, about the episode itself. It was a very kind of meh finale for me. Like, it's a one and done. I think if I'm going to go and revisit the season, I'll be watching episodes 5 and 6. That's it. To be honest.
I think you're right, and I think they just failed making a compelling character in Boba Fett. There's nothing interesting about him outside of the Tusken Raider storyline. He's just so agreeable with everybody that I don't know why he's the main character of a series when he literally just the minute someone says no, we should do it this way, he says yes. He just agrees with them.
Yeah.
Like he even agrees with Cad Bane when Cad Bane's like, "You've gone soft." He's like, "Yeah, I have gone soft." Like, stop agreeing with people and be like a something that a story can kind of hit up against and be interesting. You know what I mean? Like, make these scenes interesting instead of Boba Fett just saying okay to everything.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I 100% there, because like even at the start of the episode when they're in the burnt out club, and he's like, let's go back to the palace, and then the mod is like, no, let's stay here, and then he goes, okay. It's like, what?
Like
he just agrees
like
with
a
him?
real crime lord would, you know? Just
Yeah, that's just, yeah, I don't know, like it just made no sense. It's just they did some really weird stuff with the character Boba Fett, and I don't know if it's like Disney trying to do something with these legacy characters. Like if you think about it, they've now, you know, kind of shit on the original Luke Skywalker, and then they're shitting on Boba Fett. It's like, you know, is there something going on? Is there an agenda here, like where they're trying to like shit all over the legacy characters or something? Like there has to be, right? Like, because again,
they feel like the only way they can make new characters is by tearing down the other characters people love, right?
Yeah.
Like using the other characters to make them look bad. Like, you know, they've ruined Han Solo. Like, he's a worse character now.
Yeah.
They ruined Luke Skywalker, like you said. They've ruined Lando Calrissian a little bit. They're ruining the legacy. Yeah, Leia.
Yeah.
They're just ruining legacy characters so they can like build up their new people, right? And like they just tear down Boba Fett for no reason. Like I don't know if that's their intention or they just don't realize that they're doing this. You know, that they don't realize that they're writing their stories like this.
Yeah, I would hope it's not intentional, because that'd be kind of a sad world to live in if that was actually happening and there was like, you know, real like malice and planning behind doing it. I kind of I'll chalk this one up to kind of just a bit of a failure in kind of working as a collective project. But as I said at the start of the video, you know, there's a lot of good stuff in the season to take out if you were to kind of list your favorite parts in the season and like eventful and like memorable stuff that's happened throughout these 7 episodes. Your list would probably be quite long. You know, there was a lot of good stuff there, but just, you know, I think the entire runtime for the entire series was, I think, a little less than 6 hours, or maybe a little around the 6 hour mark. And like if you think about it, like that's nearly a trilogy, like in itself. You know, like the original trilogy, I think the runtime for the original trilogy was like 6.5 hours. You know, so when you think of it like that, you know, like what did we really get overall for like kind of like a Boba Fett trilogy? Like not a lot. Like it just didn't work. And just there was no, like as you said, there was no character to like, there was no kind of Boba Fett like development. Like they didn't build him as a character. They just let a bunch of stuff happen. And then when they brought in Mando, it kind of just diminished any story that they were building with Boba Fett. You know, so I think Mando being in the show, as amazing as it was, you know, like that was one of my favorite episodes, but they damaged the show in its entirety because it just took away from the magic. It just like, and I know the first couple of episodes were building up slowly, but episode 4 was kind of a turn back into the right direction. And then it's just like, oh yeah, remember Mando? It's like, let's watch him for 2 episodes now. You know, forget about Boba. Like, so they kind of just pumped the brakes straight away. So it was very strange.
It's just like I know that it's, you know, we're getting like 6 hours of Star Wars content and they had to fill it up, and it seems like that might be hard for them to fill up story. But I think that the thing about TV that's fantastic is you always get great characters. Great TV shows have great characters that you want to see talk to each other and have, like, you know, Game of Thrones, you have Tyrion Lannister, a great character. You can listen to him talk all day long and not care. You know, they're not creating compelling dialogue and conversations, and they're not creating compelling characters that make us want to watch, where you can kind of stretch that out through just having conversations, right? It's just they need to build better characters. There's not, like, we didn't even learn anything new about Fennec Shand. Like, what a wasted opportunity for us to build her character up more.
Yeah, sure. They could have done flashbacks with her. They could have had like her telling stories of her origin and stuff like that. Like, you know, there's plenty of opportunity. And they just, they didn't do it. I think you're right. You know, Yeah, like I think they released today that the start date for Obi-Wan is the 25th of May. So I think we'll definitely be back to review those shows week by week, and I think
Oh yeah.
it's the most excited I've been for Star Wars since 2005. I'm not gonna lie, like this is the one for me. Like, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen are my heroes. Like when it comes to Star Wars, so this is going to be a big one for me. Like, and I think this one's going to be jam packed. I don't think there's going to be a bad episode of this show. Like, I think this is 6 1-hour episodes of just pure prequel into
Yeah.
OT fucking magic, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And I would be willing to make a bet that this show dipped in quality because of like Jon Favreau's commitment, Dave Filoni's commitment to Kenobi, because
yeah,
they know they gotta nail Kenobi. Like they cannot fuck Kenobi up, or Star Wars is done for.
yeah.
Like if they mess Kenobi up as a TV show, like I think a lot of people check out from Star Wars from now on.
Oh yeah, like I was listening to Star Wars Theory today, and someone asked the question in his stream: do you think that, are you walking away from Star Wars if they like mess up the characters of Obi-Wan or Anakin? And he literally said, I'll go back to just reviewing Legend content and the OT trilogy. Like he's like, I will not watch any of Disney stuff going forward if they destroy this show. So a lot of people are very passionate about it, and too right, especially because like anyone our age or younger they love the prequels, like, and it's a magical time in Star Wars and it needs to be protected. So I really pray that they don't go trying to change Obi-Wan into a different person, like like if they do a Boba Fett on this, it's going to be detrimental for them. Like it's going to be awful.
I agree.
Yeah. Guys,
Well,
if you like,
bummer of finale.
yeah, I know. Like it just wasn't great. Like it really just wasn't. Guys, if you like the content, please hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you in the next one. We'll be back for Obi-Wan. We do a podcast here on Fridays as well, and that'll be that. Sorry, it's live on Fridays over on Twitch, but it'll be up on the weekend. So we'll be going into depth. We usually have 1 or 2 more guests on the show as well, and we'll be going into depth a lot more on the Boba Fett show. So we'll see you there. Thanks, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.